Hello, teachers and students. My name is Caitlyn Smith, and I'm an artist and a songwriter. I'm signed to Monument Records, and I'm super pumped to be joining the CMA Foundation to offer you guys a little mini masterclass on songwriting today. So, welcome. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. A little bit of my story is I grew up in Minnesota in a small little town. And I fell in love with music, very specifically listened to Alison Krauss, Now That I Found You. I remember listening on my boombox, reading the lyrics, and just being like, how did they do this? This is incredible. I want to do music. So I started writing poetry and then putting the poetry to some music that I had in my head. And then I had an incredible piano teacher that noticed that I liked making up these little songs. And so at the end of our lessons, she would give me a handful of chord progressions and told me to try and write a song that week using these progressions. So she'd give me let's do C, F, G, back to C, and move that, keep going here, yeah. And then she'd have me make something up, and that really put fuel to the fire I already had in my heart about songwriting. And so that's kind of a little bit about how I got started, and then it all snowballed. Made my way to Nashville, signed a publishing deal about 10 years ago, and I've just been really blessed to have my songs recorded by a handful of people, and it's been a really fun ride. But I really want to tell you guys, I get it a lot, how do I write a song? Or just, what's the process? And so I have for you today 3 things to think about. Here's my songwriting 101. So number 1, become a student of songs. When I first moved to Nashville, I had a mentor by the name of Don Schlitz. And Don Schlitz, he's written some incredible songs. Go look him up. But he taught me how to become a student of songs. Every week or every time we would write, he would burn me a little CD and say, take this, listen to it, study it. And so that's what I encourage you to do. Listen to everything that you can. Pop, rock, R&B, soul, oldies, folk, Americana, country music, everything in between. And study it. Ask yourself, what are they doing? What kind of structure do we have here? Is it verse, chorus, verse, chorus? How are they putting everything in order? What is the lyric rhythm going on here? What is the hook? Do they put the hook at the end of the verse? Do they put the hook at the end of the chorus? Is there hooks all over the song and it's just a big hook party? And then also study, like I like to do, is figure out what the chord progressions are too. So a lot of times I like to listen and then learn how to play the song. And that way I kind of get the progression in my bones and my blood, kind of vibe with it. And a lot of times that can turn into a song, which is pretty cool. I don't remember who said it, but I've heard that all you really need is 3 chords and the truth. And so you don't need to know you only need to know a couple things. Doot, doot, doot. And then just say whatever you want over the top of it. It's kind of cool. It's your song. You can do what you want. So, and one thing in becoming a student of songs, one thing that I've noticed is that most songs revolve around a hook or revolve around some line or title phrase, right? And so, as you're listening and doing your deep dive, figure out, where's the hook in this song? And as you notice, a lot of times I'll even start with a hook. Start with the title. I'll give an example. The song that I wrote, Like I'm Gonna Lose You, recorded by Megan Trainor and John Legend. I wrote the song with Megan and my friend Justin Weaver. And the song actually started with the title. Someone had thrown out, love you like I'm gonna lose you. I'm like, that's a great phrase. And so everything in the song points to how you're going to love that person like it's a very last moment. And it helps make the song concise. So as a songwriter, you're also learning to take these big ideas and these big concepts and try and squish it into 3 to 4 minute songs, right? And so that's why you kind of just take the hook and try and have everything point to that. So all of that to say, that's my number one, become a student of songs. All right, number two, make it a daily practice. So a lot of people think that all of a sudden you're hit by lightning and hit by this great idea and it's just the best song ever and you just have to wait for the inspiration. But sometimes that happens, but it is, I think, pretty rare, at least in my life. And so I am a firm believer in just really making a daily practice of writing. I don't believe there's such thing as writer's block. Your ego just gets in the way, right? And, you know, I've heard that if you can't think of anything to write about, then you're just not paying attention. Because, heck, it's your song, and you can literally write about anything. You can write about the stars. You can write about this guy. You can write about your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister. You can write about literally anything. New shoes. There's a song called New Shoes. They just probably looked at their new shoes and said, I'll write that today. And so it's so cool that you can just show up every day and just try and write something. And the cool thing is you can start anywhere. People ask me this a lot. What comes first, the music or the words? And I say, yes, both of those things. It just depends on the day. And sometimes it's just a concept that kind of pops in your head. Like, that's kind of cool idea. And you mull it over for a few days. Or sometimes it's just this cool little music thing that you're like, oh, what's this? Like, I sat on this little musical piece. Except I play it wrong. I sat on it for a long time. And then I realized while I was watching my kids play in the backyard, I was like, oh my gosh, life is moving so fast. And then this whole first verse kind of fell out. I just was watching them and saying, well, you grow up, you pack it all up in a hand-me-down car. Throw out a wave and you just can't wait for your life to start. You move miles away from your parents and you try so hard not to be like them. Then it hits you one day that you miss them like hell. You want nothing more to go home again. And so I just was like thinking about growing up and just kind of wrote it all out in my phone. And so, you know, make it a daily practice. What I do is I actually, in my phone, in my notes, I've got a constant list of titles going. I got a constant list of ideas. When something hits me, I write it down. And then every day I show up, even if I'm going to try for 10 minutes to write a song. I feel like every little bit helps because practice makes perfect, right? And the cool thing is, like I said before, you can make it whatever you want to be. What I like to focus on when I'm writing is trying to make it simple, understandable, singable. But like I said, it's your song. If you want to make it complicated and deep and crazy and make it crazy chords, and that's awesome. Do it because you can do whatever you want. And another thing that helps in the category of making it a daily practice, a lot of times in Nashville or in LA, people do a lot of collaboration. So you might be sitting in your room every day, like writing songs on your piano or your guitar, or just making up, lyrics and stuff like that. But sometimes it's a little bit more fun to pull in a friend to do it. And so if, you've got a buddy that, over here that's a really good piano player that you're like, I've got these melodies, like maybe they can help me put it to some music, plan a collaboration time to hang out after school or whatever. I just think it's more fun. And I also think it can help keep it fresh from music always sounding the same. And so there's my number 2, make it a daily practice. All right, and here's my number 3. You gotta fill the cup. What does that mean, Caitlyn? It means that you've gotta observe, open your eyes, and you can't pour anything out if you don't have anything in your cup to give, right? And so filling the cup means you got to live your life and you got to pay attention. Observe, read books, watch movies, watch shows. talk to your friends. There's my phone. Sorry. Can't talk to you right now. But you got to fill the cup. And like I said before, I take a lot of notes. I write it in my phone. We've got a voice memos app on our iPhone, and that's really handy. If I'm driving in the car and I was like, oh, I've got this cool melody I'm kind of singing today, I record that, and I keep a list of music ideas. And so, but grabbing things that are happening in your life and writing it down, that's how you're going to get what I like to call the fodder, right? The soil, the ingredients for our little song soup. And so, that's my number 3, fill the cup. But here's the deal. Songwriting and becoming a songwriter, right? It's a journey. I wake up some days still. I've been writing songs for 15, 20 years, and I'll still wake up and be like, I've written all the songs there is to write. I don't have anything left. I realize those are the days where I just really need to maybe not sit at the piano. Maybe I just need to put on a Louis Armstrong record and listen and fill the cup, right? And so I hope this helps wherever you are in the world and in your musical journey. Thank you guys for listening. Songwriting is fun. It's not always easy, but it is super, super rewarding when you go from nothing to having a little song at the end of the day. It's pretty cool. And then I'll just add one thing too, is I think that the best music that you can write is just you being vulnerable and real and honest and not worrying about what the guy over here is doing. Just make music that you like. At the end of the day, that's all that really matters. So lots of love to you guys. I hope to meet y'all someday at a show somewhere in the world. But again, I'm Caitlyn Smith. A big thank you to the CMA Foundation. Y'all are doing incredible things too. So big love. We'll see you guys soon. Happy writing.